Watching the mind of someone you love slowly fade away is one of the most terrifying experiences a family can face. It leaves people desperate to find any possible cure to stop the decline. When headlines recently exploded with news of FDA-approved Alzheimer's treatments, it felt like a massive victory. Families immediately began asking doctors how to get their hands on drugs like Leqembi and Donanemab, often fully prepared to drain their life savings to afford them. But we have to look closely at what these medications actually do in a clinical setting. They do not reverse cognitive decline, and they do not cure dementia. Their purpose is highly specific. When administered to patients in the very early stages of the disease, they clear out specific protein plaques in the brain to slightly slow the speed at which a person loses their memory. Accessing this extra time is incredibly demanding. It requires regular intravenous infusions in a clinical setting, carrying an enormous financial price tag. And it comes with a known physical risk called ARIA. This condition causes dangerous swelling and microbleeding inside the skull, requiring patients to undergo constant MRI scans just to ensure their brain structure is safe. Relying entirely on a pharmaceutical fix means spending immense resources and absorbing serious side effects, ultimately just to watch the inevitable happen a little bit slower. While the search for a chemical cure continues, a much more practical strategy has emerged from the 2024 report by the Lancet Commission, one of the world's most prestigious medical authorities. This chart illustrates their findings. According to their data, nearly half, 45%, of all dementia cases globally could be actively prevented or significantly delayed. Controlling this 45% depends on 14 distinct, modifiable lifestyle factors and health metrics managed throughout our lives. Some of these are familiar, like managing blood pressure and blood sugar, but the most recent update highlighted two highly specific variables: high levels of LDL, or bad cholesterol, and untreated vision or hearing loss. Researchers are also tracking a frequently ignored chemical marker in the blood called homocysteine. When homocysteine levels run too high, it actively accelerates the physical shrinking of the brain. Alzheimer's rarely strikes as a completely isolated brain disease. Often, cognitive decline is the final consequence of a total body system failure, a chain reaction we actually have the power to intercept. Consider a clinical case of a 65-year-old woman whose terrified family brought her to the doctor. She was experiencing severe memory loss and a thick brain fog, and everyone assumed she was showing the early signs of dementia. Instead of immediately writing a prescription for a memory drug, her doctors ran a comprehensive blood panel. They found severely elevated homocysteine and a steep deficiency in vitamin B12. Her brain was lacking the raw materials needed for structural maintenance. Specific B vitamins initiate a chemical process called methylation, which actively neutralizes dangerous homocysteine molecules before they can damage neural pathways. Her treatment plan was incredibly low-tech. She was prescribed targeted methylated B vitamins, made specific adjustments to her daily diet, and committed to a strict routine of brisk walking every single day. Within 3 months, her symptoms completely cleared. This recovery showed her brain was physically starving for the correct chemical environment, rather than suffering from a permanent disease. What families so often interpret as the permanent, terrifying onset of Alzheimer's can sometimes be a highly treatable biological imbalance, if you step back and look at the whole system. This brings us to a clear economic and biological choice. You can wait for the system to break and rely on medical intervention, or you can actively build a resilient biological foundation through daily self-care. Late-stage pharmaceutical intervention asks you to accept massive financial and physical risks for a very limited reward. Meanwhile, daily preventative habits offer a virtually zero-risk path to protecting your cognitive function. Your most effective brain insurance policy is rigorously managing your blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol. You pair that with consistent, deep sleep and active social connections. Even dietary supplements like omega-3s or ginkgo act only as structural reinforcements. They are not magic cures, and they only provide a benefit if that foundational lifestyle is already secure. Of course, if a loved one experiences a sudden or steep drop in cognitive ability, you must always seek an immediate professional neurological evaluation to catch treatable issues before attempting to self-medicate. Long-term cognitive protection is built through the daily, whole-body choices you make right now.